Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to explore some of the most valuable coins in U.S. history, the top 4 Jefferson Nickels. In this video, we'll look at each coin's current market value, the fascinating minting errors, and the special conditions that make them rare and desirable. We'll also talk about the silver wartime nickels, the different color shades, and other unique features that have made these coins stand out in the coin collecting and investing world. These Jefferson Nickels are not just pieces of currency. They are pieces of American history and some of the most valuable treasures collectors are hunting for today. So, if you're a coin enthusiast or someone who appreciates the beauty and significance of American currency, this video is definitely for you. Moneybag, let's get started with our first rare Jefferson Nickel. The 1972 Jefferson Nickel with the Denver D mint mark is far more than a small piece of metal. It's a living echo of an era when America's economy, art, and pride were engraved together in every coin struck by the U.S. Mint. While to many it might look like just another nickel, those who understand its story know it represents the crossroads of innovation, legacy, and chance. Each of these coins carries not only Jefferson's timeless portrait but also a secret potential. Some specimens from this year hold errors and compositions that have made collectors' hearts race and auction prices soar beyond imagination. To appreciate the 1972 D Jefferson Nickel, one must go back to the post-war optimism that shaped the coin's creation. The Jefferson Nickel series began in 1938, replacing the beloved buffalo design, symbolizing a move from the rugged frontier to the intellectual enlightenment embodied by Thomas Jefferson. By the early 1970s, America was in transformation once again, caught between the nostalgia of its past and the bold progress of the space age. The 1972 D nickel captures this transition perfectly, its metallic surface reflecting the ambitions of a nation redefining itself. Minted in Denver, the 1972 D nickels were produced in large quantities, but what makes a few of them priceless today are the rare striking errors and minting variations that occurred during production. The Denver Mint was pushing immense volumes that year, and occasionally, planchet imperfections, double dies, or misaligned strikes occurred, each one creating a one-of-a-kind rarity. A handful of these coins exhibit faint traces of doubling on Jefferson's eye or the lettering Monticello, giving them extraordinary collector appeal. Collectors often describe these nickels as accidental masterpieces. Though struck for everyday circulation, some left the presses carrying a hidden uniqueness that only the keenest eyes could spot. For decades, these coins have surfaced in change drawers, old jars, and family collections, surprising their finders with astonishing value. The finest examples, especially those in pristine, uncirculated condition, can command prices far beyond their 5-cent face value, sometimes stretching into thousands, depending on rarity and quality. What makes the 1972 D particularly special is the blend of copper and nickel used in its composition, a subtle yet important marker of American industrial mastery. The alloy, resistant to corrosion and wear, allowed these coins to survive decades with their luster intact. Yet some experts believe that early batches contained slightly differing metal ratios, an anomaly that makes those few surviving examples particularly magnetic to collectors, as if they were silver-infused ghosts of a metallic mystery. The artistry of Felix Schlag, who designed the Jefferson Nickel, deserves reverence here too. His vision of Jefferson gazing with calm intellect and the architectural beauty of Monticello on the reverse speaks volumes of American ideals. By 1972, his design had become iconic, representing balance, intelligence, and civic pride. Each detail of the 1972 D issue echoes Schlag's dedication to portraying not just a statesman, but the enduring spirit of democracy and innovation that Jefferson championed. Over the years, stories have circulated among numismatists about the billion-dollar nickel, a term often used to describe how a rare error coin from this series could transform an ordinary collector's life overnight. Imagine holding a coin worth only 5 cents, yet possessing a striking error or grade so fine that experts deem it 1 in a million. Those fortunate enough to find such coins have experienced the thrill of realizing that history, luck, and craftsmanship converged in their palm. In today's coin market, the 1972 D Jefferson Nickel continues to captivate collectors around the world. Its value has skyrocketed not just because of rarity, but because it embodies the magic of unpredictability. No one can ever truly know which old nickel in a dusty drawer might hide an unseen flaw worth a fortune. The demand for mint state and proof-like examples has grown exponentially, with high-grade certified coins often commanding prices unthinkable to previous generations. Even beyond its monetary allure, this coin stands as a time capsule. It speaks of an America at the height of creativity, when even its smallest currency reflected its industrial prowess. The Denver Mint, operating tirelessly in 1972, created more than just currency, it minted art. Each piece that rolled off its machines carried the legacy of American resilience, forever embedded in the metal. For the passionate collector or the curious dreamer, finding a 1972 Jefferson Nickel can be a moment of destiny. Some coins have the power to bridge generations, connecting grandparents who first spent them with grandchildren who now rediscover them. The glow of a well-preserved nickel is like a whisper from the past, a reminder that fortune favors those who notice the small things that others overlook. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of all. The 1972 Jefferson Nickel may be small, but it teaches that hidden greatness often lies beneath the ordinary. It reminds us that wealth isn't always measured by face value. It's found in history, rarity, and the stories that endure through time. The next time you hold a nickel, take a closer look. For in that glimmering circle of metal, you just might be holding a piece of the American dream, waiting patiently to change your fortune overnight. In truth, the 1972 Jefferson Nickel remains an immortal symbol of unexpected value. It is proof that even the most unassuming object can carry the power to inspire awe, ignite passion, and perhaps even make one a millionaire. A single coin, born in the era of change, still possesses the spark of possibility, a reminder that miracles often come wrapped in copper and nickel, gleaming faintly under the light of history. Next up, the 1943 Jefferson Nickel with the S mint mark is one of those pieces of American coinage that feels less like a simple 5-cent coin and more like a living memory of a nation in the midst of transformation. Struck during the height of World War II, this coin carries with it not just monetary value, but the very soul of a generation that faced hardship, innovation, and victory. What makes the 1943 Jefferson Nickel extraordinary is that it was not made from the standard copper-nickel blend. Instead, it was crafted from a wartime silver alloy, giving it both a unique appearance and a composition that set it apart forever from its pre-war brothers. In the early 1940s, as the U.S. poured every ounce of material into the war effort, nickel became a crucial resource for weaponry and military machinery. The government, unwilling to halt the production of coinage, made a radical choice: to remove nickel entirely from the 5-cent coin and replace it with a mixture of silver, copper, and manganese. Thus, the silver war nickels were born. The 1943 Jefferson Nickel became one of the symbols of that wartime ingenuity, bearing a large mint mark above Monticello on the reverse, making it instantly recognizable among collectors. The story of this coin begins at the San Francisco Mint, one of the 3 major mints producing coinage during the war years. The S mint mark signified its birth on the western shores of the United States, a city buzzing with wartime production and trade. Each coin was composed of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese, a combination that not only conserved nickel but also gave the coin a soft, glowing tone unlike any other. For decades, the silver content was underestimated, and many people unknowingly spent these little treasures without realizing the fortune that could one day lie within their pockets. What gives the 1943 nickel its lasting allure in the modern coin market is the combination of its history, limited survival rate, and shimmering silver content. Millions were minted, but very few survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. Time, wear, and war itself took their toll. The few that remain with full steps on Monticello, a crisp strike, and original luster are among the most desirable nickels in existence. To hold one is to hold a piece of a country's struggle and victory in your hands, a coin that carried the burden of both economy and patriotism. Beyond its physical beauty, the 1943 nickel embodies a transformation in American coinage philosophy. It was the first and only time the Jefferson Nickel series deviated from its standard composition, and that single change gave rise to a coin that collectors view as both an experiment and an accidental masterpiece. Each piece bears the marks of the wartime presses, slightly rough surfaces, subtle imperfections, and that unmistakable S above Monticello standing as a testament to the westward reach of the nation's minting power. In today's market, the 1943 Jefferson Nickel commands attention not just for its silver, but for its soul. In brilliant uncirculated condition, its value soars to levels that would astonish anyone who once thought of nickels as pocket change. Some varieties, with nearly flawless luster and sharp design, are sold for thousands of dollars at auction. For the rare collector who discovers one with a striking error, perhaps a double die, a repunched mint mark, or an overpolished die, the value can skyrocket to unimaginable heights. What makes this coin even more mystifying is how it bridges generations. For older Americans, it evokes memories of ration books, victory gardens, and the unbreakable spirit of wartime unity. For modern collectors, it represents an artifact from an era when every ounce of metal mattered and every coin told a story of sacrifice. The 1943 nickel isn't just a coin, it's a message from the past, whispered in silver. Its silver composition ensures that even in its simplest form, it has intrinsic value. The market for silver alone gives it a baseline worth far above its face value, but its historical and collector appeal multiplies that many times over. For those lucky enough to discover one untouched by time, bright, full of mint luster, and sharp in detail, the financial reward could truly be life-changing. Many numismatists call it a silent millionaire's coin, one that might rest unnoticed in a jar, waiting to reveal its true worth to someone with eyes to see. One of the most enchanting aspects of this coin is the role it plays in teaching us about value, not just in dollars, but in history and craftsmanship. It reminds us that what may seem ordinary can, under the right light, become extraordinary. It proves that even a 5-cent piece can rise above its denomination and become a symbol of enduring worth. Imagine finding one tucked away in a family heirloom box, its silver glow dulled slightly by time. To the untrained eye, it's just another old coin, but to the collector, it's a doorway to another world. A world where American innovation, sacrifice, and beauty are captured forever in metal. Owning a 1943 Jefferson Nickel is like owning a piece of history that still breathes. So, if you ever hold this small, silver marvel in your palm, don't spend it, don't trade it lightly, and never underestimate it. This is not just a coin, it is a story forged in war, a treasure of peace, and a bridge between the common and the priceless. Its power lies not only in its silver, but in the legacy it carries, the legacy of a nation that transformed its very currency in the name of victory. And who knows? That tiny coin, resting in your hand, might just be the one that changes your fortune overnight. Next up. The year 1963 marked one of the most fascinating chapters in the story of the Jefferson Nickel, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but carries within it a history of America's ambition, craftsmanship, and hidden fortune. The 1963 Jefferson Nickel, particularly the one struck without a mint mark, was produced at the Philadelphia Mint and stands as a timeless symbol of the nation's strength in the years leading up to great transformation. It may not gleam like gold or glimmer like silver to the naked eye, but deep within its copper-nickel blend lies a value that stretches far beyond its 5-cent face, a value that collectors and historians alike chase with reverence. When the 1963 Jefferson Nickel was born, the United States was standing at the edge of a new era. The post-war boom had reached its peak, technology was surging, and the space race had captured the imagination of millions. Amid this national optimism, the mint produced millions of nickels to fuel a growing economy. Yet even in a sea of mass production, rarity was quietly brewing. Some 1963 nickels bore subtle differences, slight errors, perfect strikes, or pristine preservation, that would one day make them treasures of unimaginable worth. The no-mint mark variety is especially alluring because it was produced in Philadelphia, where minting precision was a craft of pride. Coins that emerged perfectly centered, with crisp details of Thomas Jefferson's face and Monticello's pillars standing tall, would later become the standard of excellence. And among those, a handful struck with unusual luster, slight die variations, or untouched brilliance would find their way into vaults and collections, awaiting discovery decades later. Jefferson himself, whose portrait graces the obverse, adds a layer of meaning to the coin's legacy. He was not just a founding father, he was a man of vision, intellect, and idealism, whose principles of liberty and innovation shaped the nation. The decision to feature him on the nickel in 1938 was more than symbolic. It represented America's commitment to progress through knowledge and balance through humility. Each 1963 nickel silently carries Jefferson's ideals into the hands of whoever holds it, as though whispering stories of history, governance, and the enduring American dream. Yet what makes the 1963 nickel so extraordinary today is its transformation from a simple piece of metal to a relic of hidden wealth. In today's coin market, collectors search feverishly for coins with extraordinary strike quality or rare minting characteristics. Some 1963 nickels have been discovered with mirror-like surfaces, proof-like qualities mistakenly released into circulation, while others display die cracks or double-struck details that multiply their value 100-fold. If such a coin rests unnoticed in someone's drawer, it could indeed be a silent key to fortune. Unlike ordinary modern coins, Older Jefferson Nickels embody a period when the U.S. Mint was still refining its methods, and machines occasionally birthed errors that today are priceless. The Philadelphia Mint of 1963 was a powerhouse, producing billions of coins, but in the midst of that industrial rhythm, a handful of unique nickels were struck. Those with the faintest imperfections or the sharpest details became instant rarities. What was once worth a mere 5 cents could now command thousands, even tens of thousands, in the collector's world. The composition of the coin itself tells a deeper story. Though made primarily of copper and nickel, these metals represented the industrial heartbeat of America. They built bridges, powered machinery, and strengthened the nation's resolve during times of both prosperity and war. Some claim that within certain 1963 nickels, trace impurities in the metal created distinct tones and textures, unintentional artistry that gives each coin its own fingerprint. To a trained eye, these subtleties make the difference between pocket change and a collector's dream. Over time, as countless nickels were lost, melted, or worn down, pristine examples became ever rarer. Coins preserved in untouched condition, gleaming with their original mint shine, now trade like jewels. Numismatists treasure them not only for their rarity but for their connection to a time when America still struck coins of character, weight, and presence. A flawless 1963 no-mint mark nickel in gem condition could change hands for astonishing sums, a testament to how history and art fuse into tangible wealth. The most fascinating aspect, however, is the human story behind every coin. Imagine a factory worker in 1963 holding one of these fresh nickels, unaware that decades later it could be worth a small fortune. Or a child saving nickels in a jar, unknowingly preserving a piece of future treasure. That's the magic of numismatics, the art of time travel through metal. Every scratch, every tone, every glint of light on a 1963 nickel tells a story that stretches across generations. In the vast world of coin collecting, stories of sudden fortune are real. Some of the most valuable coins ever found were once overlooked as ordinary. A coin dropped on a sidewalk in 1963 could today be someone's golden ticket. The Jefferson Nickel, particularly the 1963 no-mint mark version, embodies this phenomenon, a coin born from industry, matured through history, and now reborn as a symbol of hidden wealth. Those who hold on to such a coin should think twice before letting it slip away. Its true worth lies not just in silver-like luster or market value but in the journey it represents. From the hands of mint workers in Philadelphia to collectors of today, it bridges past and present, reminding us that sometimes fortune hides in plain sight. So, if you ever find yourself staring at a 1963 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, pause before you spend it. That small piece of history might just be the whisper of destiny, the kind of coin that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, the kind that turns a humble 5 cents into a lifetime of wonder. In the gleam of its metal lies not just monetary value but the golden promise of America's enduring story. One nickel, one fortune, one dream at a time. Next UPE. Mark from the Denver Mint is one of those humble-looking American coins that hides a story far greater than its face value suggests. Born during a period of post-war confidence and industrial might, this nickel represented a nation on the rise. Yet few could have imagined that decades later, certain rare varieties of this same 5-cent piece would become treasures worth small fortunes. The Jefferson Nickel, minted since 1938, carries the face of one of America's most brilliant minds, Thomas Jefferson, and with it, the ideals of liberty, progress, and innovation that defined his vision for the young republic. By 1962, the Jefferson Nickel had already become a cornerstone of American pocket change. The Denver Mint, responsible for striking millions of coins that year, used copper and nickel alloys, creating the distinct silvery shine that collectors recognize instantly. But beneath that shine, there's mystery, because not all nickels were made equal. Some 1962 D nickels emerged with slightly different metal compositions, unusual die strikes, or rare minting errors that would one day transform them into collector's gold. The very coin that once jingled unnoticed in an average American's change jar could, today, be worth thousands. What makes the 1962 D so captivating is not only its composition but its connection to a crucial chapter in American minting history. The early 1960s were years of transition. The U.S. Mint was struggling with the rising cost of silver and metal shortages that would soon lead to dramatic changes in coin production. Every die, every strike, and every imperfection from this era holds a story. Some of the 1962 D Jefferson nickels have faint doubling in the inscriptions or on Jefferson's profile, a subtle flaw that eagle-eyed collectors now pay dearly to own. Others are struck off-center or on defective planchets, each one a unique masterpiece born of imperfection. The Denver Mint itself holds a legendary place in American coin history. Established in the late 19th century, it became known for precision and power, producing coins that fueled the growing Western economy. In 1962, the mint was operating at full capacity, striking millions of nickels daily. Yet, despite this, the rare few that came out with extraordinary variations escaped unnoticed into circulation. It's these stray survivors, hidden in drawers, passed through generations, or tucked into old collections, that today spark the imaginations of collectors and historians alike. When held under proper light, a pristine 1962 D. Jefferson Nickel gleams with a timeless brilliance. The details of Jefferson's hair, the fine engraving of Monticello on the reverse, and the crispness of the D mint mark together tell a story of craftsmanship at its peak. For collectors, finding one in near-perfect condition, with original luster and untouched surfaces, is like striking silver in the modern age. These coins are not just money, they're fragments of America's industrial art. But what truly elevates the 1962 D nickel beyond ordinary metal is its rarity in exceptional condition. Most nickels of that year were heavily circulated, worn smooth by decades of hands and pockets. Yet a small number were saved, perhaps by accident, perhaps by foresight, and remain in mint-state condition today. These are the ones that can fetch astonishing prices, especially when authenticated by professional grading services. Their mirror-like surfaces, full strike details, and untouched beauty can make even seasoned numismatists pause in admiration. The silver-like appearance of these nickels often leads to myths, tales of pure silver compositions or experimental strikes. While the 1962 D is primarily copper-nickel, there are whispered stories in numismatic circles about test strikes and hybrid alloys from that era, possibly mixed with leftover silver planchets. If any such coins truly exist, they would indeed be worth millions, the kind of find that turns an ordinary collector into a legend overnight. It's this sense of possibility, this tantalizing mystery, that gives the 1962 D. Jefferson Nickel its magic. Beyond its metal and mint mark, the coin also captures a cultural moment. In 1962, America was on the brink of the space age. Jefferson's image, facing forward toward Monticello, seemed to symbolize both reflection on history and hope for the future. Each nickel was a small, metallic echo of the American dream, stability, innovation, and endless potential. It's poetic that today, collectors chase these nickels as symbols of fortune and destiny, much like the pioneers who once chased gold. As decades have passed, the value of these coins has only grown, not just in dollars but in significance. Every surviving 1962 D. Jefferson Nickel is a time capsule of craftsmanship, economy, and heritage. Some have been auctioned for staggering amounts due to minting errors, double dyes, repunched mint marks, or proof-like finishes that shouldn't exist on circulation strikes. Each one adds a chapter to an already rich narrative that keeps growing with every discovery. Collectors say that when you hold a rare 1962 D. Jefferson Nickel in your palm, you can feel its power, not monetary, but historical. It connects you to a line of workers, engravers, and dreamers who crafted something enduring during an age of change. And in today's market, where rarity meets nostalgia, this little coin has the potential to transform a simple find into a life-altering fortune. So, if you come across a 1962 D. Jefferson Nickel that gleams a bit too brightly, that feels heavier, or bears a subtle imperfection, don't rush to spend it. Because within that small disc of metal lies the story of America's resilience, and perhaps, the key to your own incredible fortune. The coin that once bought a piece of candy could now, quite literally, buy your freedom. It's proof that sometimes the smallest things in history can hold the greatest power to change your destiny overnight. Thank you so much for watching this video.